Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Schwab Coaching for our next topic, Street Smart Edge to Think or Swim Web. I'm your host, Kevin Horner. I want to thank you all for joining. I'm joined today by my friend, fellow coach, Brent Moore's there in the chat, everyone. Say hey to Brent. He's going to keep an eye on things for me with your comments, your questions, etc. there. I'll also do the same, of course. I want to make sure that I address specific questions you all might have about the Think or Swim web-based application today that we're going to be reviewing here over the course of the next 20 minutes or so. And I will get to as many of those as I can, but I want to point it out because this is an opportunity for you to get a specific question answered. Please take advantage of it if you've got something specific you want to see addressed. Odds are that you're not the only one, so don't hesitate to use chat for just that. Take a moment and follow Brent and me on X. I am at Kevin Horner CS. Brent, you can follow at Brent Moore's CS. And of course, if you like what we do for you, hit that thumbs up button at the conclusion of our segment. Make sure that you're subscribed to the Schwab YouTube coaching channel. All right, some brief reminders. Keep in mind that our conversation is always for your information and education exclusively, not endorsing any particular strategy or approach to the market. Further, recognize that we work essentially in demonstration mode of the Think or Swim web-based application, but that is also paper money accessible. Paper money is a great way to get familiar with the platform, but what works great for you in paper money, we can't guarantee is going to work great for you there in real money scenarios. So as much as we want to encourage you to utilize it from a standpoint of familiarizing yourself or even checking on your own strategies and approach to trading the market, we can't guarantee that what works there in paper money is going to work for you in live money. So please keep that in mind. And there are some differences in terms of what you do with regard to options in your paper money version. You won't be early assigned on any option contracts in paper money. So it doesn't necessarily reflect the exact nature of the traditional market. So please do keep that in mind. Now, a brief reminder that we've got the upcoming Market Drive events. We are back out and about amongst all of you. The nearest one is next weekend, the 17th of August. We'll be in Schaumburg at the Renaissance Hotel, highlighting the Market Drive event. You're absolutely welcome to attend. We'd love to have you there. I will be there with Ben Watson as well, a number of our other hosts, of course, and you can sign up and register here at schwab.com/events. So please take a moment to do that if you're going to be in the Schaumburg area. So let's get started with a look at Think or Swim desktop. There we go. Here we have Think or Swim desktop breakdown. Now, I got to give you a heads up as to how we load this. First and foremost, you can actually launch this outside of the schwab.com site. So you can go to trade.thinkorswim.com. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just pop that into chat for you all here. And you can set yourself with a bookmark if you'd like, and then log in like you normally would to your standard Schwab account or any of your other accessed accounts utilizing your traditional login details. And when you do so, you are brought to the visual breakdown, which is likely going to have the left rail opened up for you the first time you see it. And so let's talk briefly about what we see in the upper left corner here. Note we're on live trading. Now, I mentioned off the jump, we're in a demonstration version of this. This is a demo base for us, live trading, but obviously not real money as it relates to me, unfortunate as that might be with my tremendous option buying power here. But you can transition quickly here in the thinkorswim web-based application to using paper money just by clicking that paper money link. And you'll notice when we do that, everything changes a little bit. We move off of the blue color starburst to yellow, and yellow for paper money. And you'll notice you get then the breakdown that says these are simulated values. And this is one of the main differences between Think or Swim desktop and Think or Swim web is the ability to navigate between your paper money and live with just a click. So keep that in mind. You can maintain different positions entirely. As you'll notice, I've got a very limited scope in my current paper money version, but my live trading version, as you'll see, has quite a few underlying equities and investment opportunities there. So make sure you're on blue when you want to be live trading, and also on paper money when you're looking to work things out, so to speak. Now, on this positions page, I say positions page because that's the highlighted box or icon here in the upper left. Positions gives me the visual of my overall account. Now I've got, yes, this left rail, which contains the balance detail. If I don't want to see it, I can hit the little arrow and close that. And now I'm looking at, in my scenario, I've just loaded the percentage change gainers for the day, which are the investments in the marketplace that are moving on a largest percentage basis. That's one of the main watch lists you all have access to, of course, in thinkorswim desktop. And you can change it just by clicking there. And I'm on the public side, so there's a lot of options available to us here. These are all the same as we would have available on the public list in the desktop version of thinkorswim as well. And if you're looking for your personal ones, just keep clicking that left arrow back so that you can get to all watch lists, and you're looking for personal here. So if you've created your own watch lists, or maybe you on thinkorswim desktop built a scan that you then created a watch list for, well, that's what these are here, of course. Remember the ones with the little icon there next to it? That lets you know that that was a scan. And what's cool about those, of course, is that those scans can be giving you new ideas each time you look at that watch list. So that's not a scanned, not a list that is then set to just that list. It is a dynamic list that will fluctuate as new equities make it into the criteria, and as those equities fall out of the criteria that you're designating. So keep that in mind. Those watch lists are just the same ones you might be using on desktop, and you might want to see that broken down here along the watch list rail. Now, commonly, a lot of us will close out of this space when we're done looking or wanting to get more detail as associated with our positions page. So one of the key components that you'll want to be aware of course, are the carets. The carets to the left of any one of these groupings allows for an opening of information. So I've got the activity caret opened. When I close it, you'll see it just streamlines things a little closer for me, right? So if I open that up, I've got my existing working trades, right? I have executed trades, which show me 0. So I've had no fills today. I've had no canceled trades at this point today, but I've got a couple of existing open sell orders. And if I wanted to work through and look at my individual breakdown of positions here, I've got the columns hard set for what I'm looking for. And I can make alterations, of course, via my gear icon right here. So you're not going to find quite as many column availabilities as you might in desktop. But again, that's one of the key differences here. The streamlined nature of thinkorswim web as it relates to thinkorswim desktop. So desktop is going to be a bit more robust in terms of its opportunities for you. Where you'll notice those opportunities most are going to be in some of these columns that are available, as well as in your scan functionality. Scans are another area of availability here for you, but the scan breakdown here is just going to be a little bit less. And so if I was to click on add filter, what you'll see, yeah, we've got quite a few, but what's missing in a lot of these are study options, availability for you to say things like, I want to look for given study details like moving average on a short-term basis that might be trading higher than a moving average on an intermediate term basis. So that might be a 20-day moving average above a 50-day moving average, for example. Those are the types of scan details that you're not going to find here when designating or building the scan. However, remember back to what I said a moment ago about watch lists. If you go through this process in your desktop version, you can build it as a watch list opportunity, and then it can save or be available as a watch list in thinkorswim web. So while you might not be able to build it in web, you can access something like that in web. One of the other things that I'll make note of as it relates to the limitations of thinkorswim web are going to be on charts. And, for many traders, you're looking for something a little bit more than what the chart breakdown will offer you here. On the chart page, what I'll point to here is this grid in the upper right corner. Now, I'm going to put this on the one grid just so you can all see. Obviously, single chart, very standard, right? If we want more than what is offered, we can change to the 2-chart grid. We can change to the 3-chart grid. And this would be the maximum if we were to leave it as such, right? However, there is nothing to say that we can't go to trade.thinkorswim.com and secondarily launch again the exact same thing, right? So if we go like this and I load in launch in using my credentials here, maybe what I'm going to do is access 2 different versions at the exact same time and then just spread them out, right? So maybe on one monitor, I've got a setup that has me looking at, say, for example, if I've got JP Morgan in here, maybe you want to keep it on the banking side. So maybe I'm watching some bank stocks here. And then I might just swing this over to another monitor altogether, right? So you can't see it, but I'm over here on my second monitor. And then on my first one, maybe I'm doing something that's more broad market based, right? So I'll be looking at the S&P 500, maybe looking at the NASDAQ 100, maybe looking at the Russell 2000. So this is just as a reminder. Yes, there are some limitations, but there are also some ways for you to branch out a little bit for the web-based approach. And I think that that's just a good reminder that there are some basics that we can incorporate here that can still make this a little bit more customizable than what is necessarily suggested right off the bat. Now, by the way, there's also some additional info you can add in the charts. Notice the right rail here, which offers you 3 tabs, and those are specific to each one of those individual charts, which could be time and sales or level 2. Now, as you'll notice here, no big deal, right? Because I'm relying on indices. But if I wanted that let me uncheck that here and bring back to our side. Let's just did I close that out? No, there it is. So we'll bring that back over so I can show you this in equity breakdown. So here's how the time and sales might look. If you prefer to see it as level 2, you can do that. Or if you want the active trader button, which is going to give you more of the existing top market, if you will, right? The current bid offer. Scroll all the way up to the top. There we go. So, and then you've got your buy sell buttons. And obviously we're not limited to the chart window details here. Yes, we're on 1 year daily, but we can play with those pretty simply, right? Change to, let's just look at the last month. And instead of 4 hours, let's base that on 1 hour increments. There you go. You've got a little different window of time for consideration there. So again, some customization of availability, but not nearly what you have available in the desktop version. Jaden, yeah, there is a recording here. In fact, let me just mention over on our Schwab YouTube coaching page, everybody, if you're not already set up for subscribing, make sure you are. Hit that subscribe button. If it doesn't appear there for you, that means you are already subscribed. So that's a good thing. If you want to see additional segments like this one, click the playlist link right here. Notice we have right here, StreetSmartEdge to thinkorswim web. That is the full playlist. You can click on this and it'll take you to all of the history we've been offered here. Archive goes back quite a few months. And further, if you're looking for something outside of thinkorswim web, you might check out Cam's Start Here on StreetSmartEdge to thinkorswim, or the virtual workshop that we've previously hosted. You've got a lot of opportunity to get familiar with the suite of thinkorswim applications here, all of them. thinkorswim web, thinkorswim desktop, thinkorswim mobile. All of these playlists can be a good way to further your knowledge. And the last thing I'll say about the playlists, yes, you can look for something specific to thinkorswim, but remember, as coaches, every segment we host is utilizing the thinkorswim desktop for the majority of the time. And so what that means is you can watch us in action and take some tidbits, tricks, and tips from those conversations, even though we might not be focused on using the platform at that moment in time. We might not be educating, if you will, about Thinkorswim Desktop, but what you learn from watching us use that can be just as helpful in a lot of cases, everybody. So commonly I hear that, hey, I was watching Trader Talk, I saw you talking about this study or this approach, and I noted that functionality would be really helpful. How do I do that? Can I set that up for myself? That's definitely available to you. So don't hesitate to make sure you're watching all the shows, because there's a lot of tips you can pick up on. All right, so we've touched on the positions tab, right? We've touched on the charts tab. I should note that in addition, on the charts tab, we do have this over here on the right. We've got the right rail we could open up to see account details simultaneously as we are watching our chart. But I want you to point out here, everybody, yes, while we have that, it is not detachable. So that's another key discrepancy between desktop and web, is the lack of ability to detach functions and tools and move them at your discretion, which is a major benefit as it relates to the desktop version here. So yes, you can keep a close eye on things by opening this right rail and being able to see what your position standing is at any moment. If you don't need it, you can keep it closed. But if you wanted to see what it might appear like with everything opened up on a single monitor, it could be like this. Okay, so you've got 3 charts in there that might be 3 individual stocks. Maybe you do it with the same stock, but 3 different windows of time, which is also a common way that some of you would prefer to look at your individual stocks. Now, bear in mind, we do not link these charts together like we do in desktop, okay? So if you want 3 different time frames, you'd have to designate it as such. So maybe one of them is 1 year daily, one of them is for the last month using 4 hours, and then maybe the last one is just the last week utilizing hour-long or maybe even 5-minute bars. So there's a number of ways you can go about this. I just wanted to give you a few different thought processes for consideration there. Let's jump over to the trade tab. As you can see, by changing just to the trade, everybody, it did nothing to my other windows, right? So my positions window remains available. My watch list window remains available. If I want to minimize at any moment, I can gain larger detail for myself. And then from here, if I'm ready to place an equity trade, a lot of you are going to lean into the upper right corner utilizing buy and sell detail right from here. Notice that in doing so, pops up the order entry down below. It is utilizing my default order entry details. So I have customized order entry to ensure that I don't overbuy or oversell. So my positions default to limit orders, relying on 25 share increments. So hitting the buy button will utilize your default details and apply down below. All right, so if you're looking for options specific, I'm going to delete this first. Let's go ahead beneath our quote detail and let's look to the option chain here. And we're going to tell it, yeah, we're going to center on a specific strike. So if we change this, for example, let's go over to just Apple. We've got Apple last trading here. Let's get the quote details. All right, so we've got a last trade at 216 or 215 and a quarter. If we open up the existing series, we can make some alterations as we'd like right here with the gear icon in terms of the columns detail, everybody. Of course, I'm not going to be able to get to just as much as we would otherwise be able to on a day like today, but there's plenty of customizations available, but just maybe not everything that you might like to see as it relates to what's available in desktop. So just remember what we're thinking about when accessing web versus desktop is a more streamlined scenario. And the other reason that you might very well lean into web-based in lieu of desktop would be for those of you who might be traveling and you might be using a computer where you don't have the ability to download a platform. Remember, this is web-based, so that is a little bit more freedom in this way. You don't need to download anything. You can just simply bookmark, as I noted, that trade.thinkorswim.com. and make that available to yourself. So you don't have to go anywhere or bring anything with you. Rather, you can use any computer and get to that page and log in like you normally would. You do not need to access even schwab.com for that, but there is a link here in the upper right corner, schwab.com. So once you are logged in, you are then behind the firewall. If you want to get into the schwab.com page, you can via that link. All right, so there is just a cursory heads up on what is going on with thinkorswim Web. Yes, we have the archive available. Brent has been kind enough to put the playlist in the chat for me. Thank you, Brent. So check that out, and don't hesitate to watch a number of those archives. I know that the archive continues to grow every single day, so lean into that. And if you're looking for more, consider attending on these live sessions. So you can check out the schwab.com/coaching calendar. If you are catching this in that archive, everybody, recognize that we have a number of hours of available live content for you Monday through Friday here on the Schwab YouTube coaching channel. So thank you, everybody, for joining and participating. Thanks to Brent in chat. Follow us on X at Kevin Horner CS, at Brent Moore CS. And if we handled the segment for you properly, hit that thumbs up for me today and make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube coaching channel. I hope you all have a fantastic Friday, a great weekend on deck. I look forward to seeing you all again real soon.